So once again, a very good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm my screen is visible and I'm audible. Thank you. Thank you so much. And wish you all the same because all students are also our teachers. We get so much to learn from our students as well. So happy Teachers' Day to everyone. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's get started. So in our previous session, we saw the inheritance concept and we had seen that how to create an abstract class and all those things we had, no, sorry, virtual method and function overriding, correct? We had seen, sorry, we did not use the word virtual, but when we have a method in the parent class, which we override. So the parent class method is also called as a virtual method, okay? जिसको हम ओवरराइड करते हैं जो पेरेंट क्लास में जो मेथड होता है उसको वर्चुअल मेथड भी कहते हैं. So this much everybody is clear. If you all are okay with that, can you please type P for proceed, or if you have doubt, you can ask some question. Okay, so now we will move ahead with the next concept. So let's say that we have already created these classes. 1 minute. So we have a class, suppose that is a vehicle class. Okay, and using the vehicle class, we perform the inheritance. We create bike. We create, say, car, bus, and truck. Okay, so when we talk about a vehicle, okay, if I want to say, let's start a vehicle. So how will you define start method in a vehicle where I'm not sure which type of vehicle it is, whether it is a bike or a car or a bus or a truck? I have no idea. Then in that case, can we define the start method here? यहाँ पे हम स्टार्ट कैसे करना है वो बता सकते हैं क्या अगर वो सिर्फ व्हीकल है इट इज नॉट अ बाइक आई डोंट नो वेदर इट इज अ बाइक और अ ट्रक और अ कार नो राइट so we cannot define. And similarly, let's talk about the stop method. Can we define how to stop a vehicle when I'm not aware of the fact like whether it is a bike or a car or a bus or a truck? I don't know. So can we write a method to stop the bike? That is also not possible. Okay. Now, let's say I want to buy a bike. So I go to the shop and I get a new bike. Means the shopkeeper is showing me a very new bike, and it is a very awesome bike. Means the color, the style, the I mean, what do you say? Design, everything is very fantastic. Means I am really impressed with that bike. So the shopkeeper says, "Ma'am, this has all the features that you are looking for. Only one thing is missing. That is the start functionality. This is a very awesome bike, but it does not have a start functionality. Would you like to buy such a bike? It's a fantastic bike." No. Correct. So we want that if at all it is a vehicle, whether it is a bike or a car or a bus or truck, we all want that these vehicle must possess the start functionality or the stop functionality. ये तो उसमें होना ही चाहिए. बाकी कुछ हो ना हो, but ये तो जरूरी चीज है ना. Fancy look is good, means of course that is important, but having these functionalities missing is something which we cannot afford. So, if the shopkeeper is selling such a bike which is not having the start functionality, don't you think this bike, this seller should be said, "अरे तुम दुकान बंद करो भाई, ऐसा bike बेचो मत." We should say like that, right? That means this rule is so rigid that if at all you are selling a bike, it should have the start, stop, drive, accelerate. Those are the basic functionalities. Those should be present. Besides this, you may add so many extra features. That is additional thing. But some basic functionality we are expecting, correct? So if you look at the class that is a vehicle. So if you look around yourself and I ask you, can you see something which is just a vehicle? It is not a bike, not a car, not a bus, nor a truck, nor a jeep, nothing. It is just a vehicle. Is it possible? No. So can I say having a vehicle is just a concept? It's at a conceptual level, right? And the vehicle must start or the vehicle must stop. It is also conceptual, because we cannot define actually how the bike will how the vehicle will start, how the vehicle will stop. That we cannot define. So if there is a class, so we are talking about the class vehicle. So we have this vehicle class inside which we have the start functionality and we have the stop functionality, but I do not have anything to write here. मेरे पास उसके लिए कोई कोड नहीं है. So my intention is to keep this method blank. Because I just want to keep the name of the method. I don't want to have the body of that method. Such a method is called as abstract method. Got it? We just want to keep the name of the method, or we can say the declaration of the method, but we do not want to define it because I don't know how to define it. Okay, so I don't want to give the zabardasti definition kyun dena? I don't have anything to define, so I'll not give the definition. I'll only keep the name. Such type of method is called as an abstract method. So what is an abstract method? A method which has only declaration but no def. Abstract method, it is a method that has only declaration but no definition. That is called as an abstract method. समझ में आया सबको abstract method का concept? And as I said, if there is a byte which has a start, which doesn't have a start functionality, then object of such class should not be allowed. So what there is a concept here, that is an abstract class. So what is an abstract class? A class which contains at least one abstract method. कम से कम एक भी abstract method आ गया, then it is known as an abstract class. Then such a class is abstract class. We cannot instantiate an abstract class. We cannot create an object of an abstract class. Okay, a class which has at least one abstract method is an abstract class, and once there is a class which is abstract, we cannot create object of such a class. यहाँ तक तो मेरे ख्याल से समझ में आ गया आपको? Everybody is okay with that? So we might have another example. So let's say there is a class called as shape. Okay, and we create the child classes like circle, square, or maybe rectangle. Okay, so circle is a shape, rectangle is a shape. So both are inheritance, means inherited from the shape class. Now I want to define a method here, that is calculate area. For a shape, can you define how to calculate the area of a shape if you are not aware whether it is a circle or a rectangle? Can you write some formula here? No. So this method will be then the abstract method. Okay. And when you come to this circle class, can we define how to calculate the area? Yes. So what we are going to do, we will provide a definition to calculate area over here, saying it is pi r square. right? We can put in a formula here that will give us the area of a circle. Similarly, for the rectangle also we can define. Okay, now let's say we are going for inheritance. So this is a calculate area method, which is abstract method. Abstract matlab kya? It is blank. There is no definition. We perform the inheritance here. So we got it inherited here and we provide a definition here. Now come to rectangle. When you perform inheritance, can I say cal area is inherited into rectangle from the shape class? ये cal area shape से इसके पास आएगा. And in this method, let's say I do not define the cal area. इसको हमने मान लीजिए define ही नहीं किया, यहाँ definition नहीं डाला अगर. So that method will remain abstract in the rectangle class also. So if you try to create object of this class, it will show error. I'm repeating, please listen everyone. There is an abstract class. अब ये abstract class बन गया because it is having an abstract method. You perform the inheritance. You got the abstract method inherited here. You do not provide the definition. So abstract remains abstract here. So rectangle class will also become abstract class and you will not be able to create object of such a class. So if you want to create the object, what you should do? अगर आपको rectangle का object बनाना ही है तो आप क्या करोगे? Define the cal area. So are we not enforcing a rule कि अगर तुमको ये चाहिए तो ये define करो. तुमको बाइक बेचना है ना तो उसमें स्टार्ट फंक्शनैलिटी डालो फिर बेचो ना, कौन मना कर रहा है? So we are enforcing the rule that this method must be present. इसको आप skip नहीं कर सकते. That is the purpose of abstraction. Understood everyone? Okay, so let's go back to our employee class. Project. So now what we will do, we will go to the employee class and here we will define public double cal sal. So this method is used to calculate the salary. So if I ask the employee what is the salary, so it will say return basic. So basic is the salary for which class? Employee class. Now let's go to the child classes. So I go to the programmer class. It is not marked as virtual. कल तो हमको डिस्प्ले लिखने दिया था उसने बिना वर्चुअल के. अच्छा, we have to write virtual here, right? So parent class method needs to be marked as virtual and child class needs to be marked as override. Then only we will achieve overriding. ये कल का ही कॉन्सेप्ट है ना. पहले मैं ओवरराइडिंग कर रही हूँ, बाद में हम उसको एब्स्ट्रैक्ट में कन्वर्ट करेंगे. ठीक है. So this is programmers calsa. Now let's go to the admin class. Okay, now coming to program.cs. Here we can write console.writeLine total salary. अगेन वी आर हैविंग द पॉलीमॉर्फिक स्टेटमेंट. यहाँ पर जब हमने e1.calsal लिखा, अभी एक बार फिर से देखो, ये है एम्प्लॉय क्लास, दिस इज एन एम्प्लॉय क्लास. हियर वी आर राइटिंग द calsal मेथड which is marked as virtual. What it will return? Basic. ये कहाँ पे है? हम एम्प्लॉय में है. Now come to the programmer class. We are overriding the calsal method. So base.calsal, what base.calsal is going to give us? Basic plus some calculation. So I just wrote here extra hours and cost per hour. So some calculation we have done. Come to sales manager, add the commission. Come to admin, add the incentive. So when you go to program.cs, and here when we write console.writeLine e1.calsal, okay, so when we write, okay, so when we are writing e1.calsal, which method will be called? अभी कैलसाल एम्प्लॉय में भी है, प्रोग्रामर में भी है. तो अगर आपने e1.calsal लिखा तो कौन सा वाला कॉल होगा? What it is going to return? Basic. Programmers, right? It is function overriding, so it is going to call the programmers. So let's do that. Now if I press F11, okay, can you see this? Where are we? We are in the programmer's calsal method. Now when we say base.calsal, if I press F11, now you can see it is going to the employee class, which returns basic, basic plus extra hours into cost per hours. That will be the total salary returned. ठीक है? Everybody okay with this? If you have understood, can you please type U for understood? नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो R for repeat टाइप करो. Okay. Now look at this employee calsal method. What it is returning? Basic. Now basic is the private data. So private is not accessible outside the class. So let me go ahead and change it to protected. अब हमने क्या किया? Protected. So what is protected? It is accessible in the class in which it has been created, plus in the child class as well. So if I go to programmer class, instead of calling base.calsal, can I not, let me just keep it for your reference. Can I not write here basic? समझ में आ रहा है? Return basic this. Why we can say basic? Because it is inherited from the basic को हमने क्या किया? Parent में protected लिखा है. So we can access it directly here. Now come to the sales manager. This one also I will change. Coming to admin. So we have made some changes in the program. Now what I will do, I will go to the employee class, and in this calsal method, let me put a breakpoint. ब्रेक पॉइंट मतलब पता है ना, अगर हमने F5 प्रेस किया तो वो इधर आना चाहिए. Now let's execute the code again. So let me just press F5 here. You can see the entire program execution is over, but it did not go to that calcel method. समझ में आ रहा है? या फिर चलो रुको स्टेप बाय स्टेप करके दिखाती हूँ. F9. Let me press. I'll start the debugging. F5 I have pressed. It will stop at the first line. Start working. Okay, now I'm going to press one by one. F10, F10, F10. Can you see this? The entire program is over, but it did not go to base.calsal. ये जो हमने एम्प्लॉय मेथड में calsal लिखा है, यहाँ ब्रेक पॉइंट डाला ना, it did not go to this section because we are not calling it anywhere. हमने कहीं पे भी base.calsal लिखा है क्या? नहीं लिखा है. So it will not go to the employees calsal method. Correct है? Everybody okay with this? The calsal method that is written in the employee class, it is not getting called at all. If the method is not called, can I say it is like a useless method for us? कॉल ही नहीं हो रहा है ना ये मेथड, यूजलेस है ना. यूजलेस है तो उसको डिलीट क्यों नहीं कर देते? सो लेट्स डिलीट इट. So let me put this in comment. And let's try to proceed further. Can you see the error coming up? We have written here override. ओवरराइड करना है तो पेरेंट क्लास में मेथड होगा तभी तो आप ओवरराइड करोगे. So the point is you cannot remove this method. At the same time I am saying this is a useless method. कॉल नहीं हो रहा है पर लिखना जरूरी है. So what we can do is we should keep this method but we will remove the definition. Definition नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि वो कॉल नहीं हो रहा है. And such a method, अभी देखो आप ऐसा लिख के छोड़ोगे तो एरर दिखाएगा. It should be marked as abstract. So change this keyword to abstract. Understood? So we have a method which doesn't have a body. So such a method is called as an abstract method. Again, I am getting error. Why there is an error? Because there is a class in which you have to put the abstract method, but the employee class is not marked as abstract. So we have to mark the abstract for employee as well. So whenever there is at least one method which is abstract, the class should also be abstract. Now you can see that error is gone. Everybody is okay with this? Abstract method and abstract class is clear? Now when you go to program.cs and somewhere I must have created the employee object. Can you see? In this case, we are creating the employee object. Can you read the error message? Cannot create an instance of an abstract class employee. So this is going to give an error. Okay. But can we inherit it? Yes. Can we override it? Yes. So my program will still work fine, but we have used the abstract class and abstract method concept here. Abstract method, abstract class समझ में आया है तो U for understood टाइप करो. And make sure you understand ना, अगर समझ में आया तो ही, नहीं समझ में आया तो पूछो. Okay. Next is a concept called as interface. Now, what is an interface? Let's understand this. So, I hope you all are using laptop. सभी के पास laptop होगा. सब लोग अपना coding वगैरह के लिए laptop use करते हैं. When you are using a laptop, your laptop has a charger, right? Why we prefer to have a laptop? So that I can carry it anywhere, right? I can just, wherever I'm going, I can carry my laptop and I can do my work. That is the reason we are using the laptop. So with the laptop, we have the charger as well. Can I use the charger at home? अपने घर में हम अपना चार्जर यूज कर सकते हैं. Can I use the same laptop charger in my office? Yes. Why? Because the plug which is provided with the charger, plug मिलता है ना अपने को. So there is a plug which is kind of a 3-pin structure kind of thing we are having. So let's say this is a 3-pin structure, right? The plug that we are going to have. And wherever you go, you also get a similar kind of socket, correct? Sorry for the bad design. So there is a socket. So this plug will fit into this socket. So this plug that we are using, let's say you have a Lenovo laptop. So can I say Lenovo company has designed this charger? ये जो चार्जर आपको मिला है ये कहाँ से मिला? लेनोवो से मिला है. अगर इफ यू आर यूजिंग अ लेनोवो लैपटॉप. एंड हु डिजाइन दिस सॉकेट? द बिल्डर और सम अदर कंपनी से. एंकर स्विचेस अगर आप लगा रहे हो, सो एंकर कंपनी हैज डिजाइन दिस स्विच सॉकेट. व्हाट डू यू कॉल दिस सॉकेट ना? Both are completely independent organizations. They are totally independent organizations, but they are successfully communicating with each other. Correct? होता है, ये डे टू डे लाइफ का एग्जाम्पल है. Now the question is, why is it possible? Why is it possible to have the communication so well? This socket follows a design. It should be a 3-pin structure. The what do you say, diameter of each and every circle is also defined. The distance between them is also decided, and the angle between them is also decided. So these are some minute specifications which the socket manufacturing company should follow in order to create this socket. Yeah, some standard has been there, right? Rather than standard, I'll say specification. ये जो एंकर कंपनी है उसने कुछ स्पेसिफिकेशंस फॉलो करके ये सॉकेट डिजाइन किया है, करेक्ट? And the Lenovo company is also using the same standard to design the plug. Since they both follow the same standard, that is why they are able to communicate with each other. So this set of specification is known as the contract or the interface. ये हम ये सॉकेट क्यों यूज करते हैं? Why are we using this socket? What is the purpose of the socket? What happened? What is the purpose of the socket? It provides the power supply, right? So can I say it is the provider? ये हमको इलेक्ट्रिक करंट दे रहा है, right? So it is the provider. And what is the purpose of this plug? Your laptop needs that power supply, correct? So you become, your plug becomes the consumer. So this is known as the provider, and this is known as the consumer. Provider consumer relationship. So provider and consumer can work together if they follow the same interface, or we also call this as a contract. So what is a contract or what is an interface? Interface is a contract between service provider and service consumer. So interface is a contract between the service provider and the service consumer. Both should follow the same set of rules and regulations. This much everybody is understanding? So let's say I am writing the specifications. चलो इसके लिए अब programming के point of view से let's take another example. Suppose I want to design a calculator. Okay, I am willing to design a calculator. So just think about a calculator and tell me what do you expect from a calculator. अगर कैलकुलेटर बनाना है तो what do we expect from the calculator? It should perform addition, it should perform subtraction, it should perform division, and it should also perform मल्टीप्लिकेशन. समझो ये बेसिक कैलकुलेटर की अगर हम बात करें तो इतना तो मिनिमम होना ही चाहिए. Let's say I go to the shop and I want to buy a calculator and the shopkeeper is saying, madam ये एकदम latest calculator आया है where you can do a lot of things. It also has a camera. It can glow light torch facility is also there. So many features he is providing me. And he says this calculator has addition, subtraction and multiplication. It is not having division. चलेगा क्या? No. सो आई से अरे भैया मुझे कैमरा नहीं चाहिए, मुझे टॉर्च नहीं चाहिए, बट एटलीस्ट इट शुड हैव ऑल दीज 4 functionalities. So what I will do, I will create a specification that a calculator must have addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. This is the set of rules I will define. And I will tell the provider, whoever is a provider, if you want to build a calculator, please implement these methods. Compulsory ये methods आपको implement करना ही है. You cannot skip any one of them. उसके अलावा whatever you add is fine, but at least this much you have to provide. Understood? आई बात समझ में सबको? If I am building a calculator, I must provide addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. इसमें से एक भी skip नहीं होना चाहिए. If I try to skip, it should give me error. So that much enforcing of the rule we want. Okay, so as a service provider, I must provide these services. और अगर मैं कंज्यूमर हूं, अगर मैं यूजर हूं, so what I will do? Will I use the specifications to do the calculation? मुझे अभी कैलकुलेशन करना है, तुमने मुझे ये सेट ऑफ स्पेसिफिकेशन पकड़ा दिया. इज इट फाइन? एक पेपर दे दिया, इसमें लिखा है हाँ एडिशन, सब्ट्रैक्शन, डिवीजन, मल्टीप्लिकेशन. इज इट फाइन? नो. I need the real calculator object that will do the calculation for me, right? If I am the consumer. Okay, so let's implement this to understand this concept better. So now I will be using a new project. So let's go to the file project. Let's go ahead and add a new item. And here let me, whenever we are creating an interface, then we should write I. It's a normal convention, so that I understand that this is an interface. So I am creating one interface called as iCalculator. तो देखो मैंने iCalculator.cs लिखा तो उसको पता चल गया, और वो उसको पता भी है कौन सा मेथड्स मुझे ऐड करने हैं. हाँ, दिस इज इंटरेस्टिंग. डबल नो कैलकुलेट, आई से सम. So I want to add here 4 functionalities. Difference. Okay, I have created one interface with 4 methods: sum, difference, multiplication, division. So what is sum? Sum should accept two numbers and provide the summation of the two numbers. Difference will accept two numbers, provide the difference, and so on. So we have created these 4 methods, correct? Now all these methods, you can see the body part is missing because this is just a specification, just a guideline. अगर कोई guideline है तो उसको body नहीं चाहिए. If there is a method which does not have a body, what is it? मैम जो फंक्शन कुछ रिटर्न नहीं करते हैं उस मेथड में void. हाँ, yes, वैष्णवी. So if there is a method where there is no body, that method is abstract. तो यहाँ पर हर जगह मुझे abstract 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 लिखना चाहिए. Every method should be abstract inside an interface because it is just a specification. वहाँ कोई implementation नहीं रहेगा. And also these methods must be public so that anybody can inherit this and override these methods. Yes everyone. ये जो मेथड है वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट भी होना चाहिए और पब्लिक भी होना चाहिए. अगर पब्लिक नहीं है तो बाहर से एक्सेसिबल नहीं होगा. Some contract that I have made, that should be public, right? It should be available to everybody. This rule is so rigid that if you try, 1 मिनट, अगर इसको हम बिल्ड करें, बिल्ड करना मतलब वो कंपाइलेशन करता है. बिल्ड फेल्ड. अच्छा, नो मेन मेथड बोल रहा है. ओके, सो बेसिकली द पॉइंट इज, वो बताती हूँ. द पॉइंट इज that rule is so rigid that you don't have to write public abstract. लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Automatically it is understood that all the methods inside an interface are public and abstract. So this is another point I would like to note here. Interface is a class which contains all methods, abstract and public. Okay, so we don't have to write there anything. ये समझ में आ गया आपको? इंटरफेस कैसे बनाना है ये क्लियर हो गया? Just you have to create a kind of class. Make sure you make it, उसको I लिखना है ना? And we use the interface keyword to create an interface. Now we go ahead and create a new class. Say my calculator. Now see what I'm saying. Let's inherit from iCalculator. और वो एक्चुअली इंटेलिजेंस देता है इन ऑल मेंबर्स. लिखोगे तो वो पूरा वो करके दे देगा अपने को. ठीक है. सो इट हैज गिवन द प्लस यहाँ है ना, सॉरी डिफरेंस के लिए माइनस है. गॉट इट. सो वी आर नाउ परफॉर्मिंग. यहाँ आई कैलकुलेटर डॉट लिखा है, ये नहीं लिखेंगे तो भी चलता है. ठीक है. इसका इम्पोर्टेंस बाद में बताऊंगी. ये अभी के लिए हम हटा भी सकते हैं इसको. ओके. डज नॉट सम किया ना, सम को भी. शायद वो इंटरफेस ऐसे लिखना पड़ता है अभी वो एरर जाएगा. So they have made it compulsory. Earlier it was not compulsory in the previous version, but now it is mandatory to write here I calculator dot. So this method has been implemented. ये सबको समझ में आ रहा है? We are overriding all the methods in the interface. So this my calculator, can I say it is the provider class now? And it is in implementing the I calculator. मैम public लिखना पड़ेगा उधर. हाँ correct, public लिखना पड़ेगा. Otherwise it will become private. Correct. पब्लिक मॉडिफायर इज नॉट वैलिड. अच्छा वो नहीं लिखना है, वो अंडरस्टूड है कि वो पब्लिक है. ओके श्रेयस, सो वी डोंट हैव टू राइट इट पब्लिक. दैट इज अंडरस्टूड. नाउ कमिंग टू द मेन मेथड. सो लेट मी ऐड प्रोग्राम .cs. Now I am going to create first of all I calculator. Suppose इसका मैं एक ऑब्जेक्ट बनाऊं. What do you think? Should it be allowed to create object of interface? Interface मतलब क्या? It's a guideline, right? It's just a specification. So should we be allowed to create object of interface? No. So you can see the red line is coming up. So it is not allowed. But can we create object of my calculator, which is inherited from I calculator? So you can create reference of the interface, but you cannot create the object. Using the parent class reference, we can create object of child class. And now I say C dot, let's call the add method. अरे addition क्यों नहीं दिखा रहा है? 1 minute, let me just cross check. Sum है, okay. C dot sum. So it is up to me. अगर मैं कंज्यूमर हूं तो तुम मुझे फोर्स कर सकते हो क्या सभी मेथड्स को कॉल करो? Should I use all the functionalities? No. तो एक ही कॉल किया तो भी चलेगा. बट आई एक्सपेक्ट, मेरी मर्जी है ना, मैं सम को कॉल करूं, डिवीजन को कॉल करूं, नहीं भी करूं तो भी वो रहना चाहिए. इट शुड बी प्रेजेंट. दैट इज द रिक्वायरमेंट. It should not be absent. So my calculator has all the functionalities present. If at all you skip one of the functionality, चलो ये skip कर दिया अगर आपने, so immediately it will come up with the error. So it is forcing me to provide definition for all. That is the interface concept. Is that clear everybody? Interface का concept समझ में आया? So we can say interface is like a purely abstract class in which all the methods must be abstract. Okay, now I hope you all know about the types of inheritance. Python supports multiple inheritance, but Java does not support multiple inheritance. But we can, what is multiple inheritance? What is multiple inheritance, everyone? Inherited from two classes, right? So more than one class can be the parent class. So here I may have parent 1 and we might have parent 2 and we are creating the child class. Now using these two parent classes, when we create a single child class, that is called as a multiple inheritance. But Java does not support it. Python supports it. C# also does not support multiple inheritance. C# और Java, bye bye. ठीक है, बहुत सारे रूल्स मिलते हैं उसमें. अंडरस्टूड. सो वी कैन नॉट हैव टू पेरेंट क्लासेस, but we can have two interfaces that is allowed. So I can have an interface IA, I can have another interface IB, and we can just go ahead and create a class which is implementing both the interfaces. ओके, तो ये यहाँ से भी इनहेरिट होकर आएगा, यहाँ से भी इनहेरिट होकर आएगा. इसके अंदर मान लीजिए आपने ए बी दो मेथड्स लिखे हैं, यहाँ पे सी डी लिखे हैं, तो आप यहाँ पर आकर ए बी सी डी को इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हो. सो दिस इज हाउ वी अचीव मल्टीपल इनहेरिटेंस इन सी शार्प. गॉट इट. तो वो करना कैसे है, सिंटैक्स कैसा उसका रहेगा. सो लेट्स हैव, let me have it as IA class, void now. I go ahead and create a class, say my class, and I inherit it from IA comma IB. That means I should provide definition for, ये देखो, ये बबल जो दिखता है ना उस पे क्लिक करो, या ऐसे बबल आएगा, implement interface ऐसे लिखो. So here you can define it. I am from IA आ रहा है समझ में. वी कैन इम्प्लीमेंट एन नंबर ऑफ इंटरफेसेस फॉर अ क्लास. जैसे अगर मुझे साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेटर बनाना है, तो आई कैन इम्प्लीमेंट बेसिक कैलकुलेटर एंड साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेटर इंटरफेसेस, and I can create a scientific calculator because it has basic functionality plus it has scientific functionalities as well. So I'm using the guideline from both. That is the idea of multiple inheritance. Till this point, if everybody is understanding and you have clear understanding, can you type C for clear? So Shreyas, Shweta, Shruti, Manoj. Others? Not clear? Dhyaneshwari, Rohit, Abhijit. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Now we will move ahead with the next concept that is called as a delegates. Now delegate is again a very, very interesting and a little bit unique concept. People who are coming from Java, C++ background, they must have heard something about function pointers. And for Python students, if you remember, we studied one concept called as decorator. So something on the similar lines is the concept of delegate. So first let's understand what is this concept. So delegates are like function pointers. So let me explain this point. Suppose we have created a function, say void f1, and we have written some code over here. So whenever we are having some method, okay, so what are we doing? First of all, we define that method, correct है? हम उस method को define करते हैं. Once we define that method, after that we go ahead and call this method. So call करते हैं हम इसको, define and followed by call. Correct है? Always we are following this rule. We define the method and later on we call that method. Let's say I want to define the method, but right now I don't want to call it. मुझे अभी उस मेथड को कॉल नहीं करना है. Rather than me calling that method, I want maybe someone else to call this method based on a particular scenario. For example, उसको पहले एक example से समझो. अभी आपको मेरा screen दिख रहा है? If I click on this start button, can you see this pop-up menu coming up? When I click on this clock section, can you see the clock option coming up? This clock only opens when I click on that clock option. If I don't click, it will not open. So we have defined a method. 1 minute. So what I'm saying is when we click over here, this pop-up is coming up. ये pop-up लाने के लिए भी तो कुछ code लिखा होगा. Show pop-up is a method that has been defined here. Show clock is the method that has been defined in this section. Show camera is the method that has been defined here. All these methods have been defined. तो define करके रख दिया गया है. जब when you click on it, then only it gets executed, otherwise it is not getting executed. So we want to define a method, but as of now I don't want to call it. I want to call it later based on some particular action. Then how do we do that? Because normally what we have learned, when you define a function, you call it by using the name of the method and you pass the desired parameters, right? So that is what we are going to achieve now. We will define the function, but we will not call it directly, but we will try to call it based on some particular scenario. So how do we achieve that? For achieving that, we use the concept of delegate. So first let's create the delegate. A few more points that we need to understand. If you remember, we discussed about the memory diagram. We discussed that this memory diagram is mainly divided into two major sections. One is the code segment and one is the data segment. So this is code segment. And here, suppose we have the F1 method. All the methods will be present here. F1 is there, F2 is there. ये सारे methods यहाँ पर रहेंगे. They will all go into the code segment. Now, what I'm saying, I want to create a variable, let's say x, which holds address of this method. तो ये जो method है, इसका address कुछ तो होगा, let's say 100. So I am creating x which holds the address of 100. ऐसा समझ में आ रहा है? Till now we were using references to objects, but now we are creating a reference to the function directly. बात समझ में आ रही है क्या? अभी तक हमने क्या किया? E1 is equal to new employee, so we created reference for employee object. But now I am saying no, अभी मुझे reference किसके लिए बनाना है? Method के लिए बनाना है. So I want to hold the address of the method in this variable x. So x is holding 100, which is actually the address of this location. So when you define the method, how do you call that method? आप ऐसे लिख के call करते हो. But if you put the address of this x over here, now I should be able to call like this also, because x is containing address of f1 और x की मदद से भी आप f1 को call कर सकते हो. So here x which holds address of f1 is considered as a delegate. समझ में आ रहा है? Whenever we want to hold the address of a method, we are using the delegate concept. Clear है? How to create delegate and all those things I will teach. But ये point समझ में आया क्या कि we can create an integer data type. हम ऐसे integer बना सकते हैं, हम employee का reference बना सकते हैं. But this time my requirement is to hold the address of a method. So here maybe I am writing D1. तो D1 में मुझे क्या चाहिए? Address of F1 चाहिए. So D1 is going to hold the address of F1. So D1 becomes like a function pointer because it holds the address of a method. यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा है सबको? So let's see it from the syntax perspective. Delegate and event are the keywords in C sharp. So do not create the project with that name. ठीक है, उस नाम से project मत बनाना. Let's say I am creating these three methods. सपोज हमने ये तीन मेथड्स बनाए. अब तीनों का आप अगर क्या बोलना चाहिए प्रोटोटाइप देखोगे तो वो सेम है. All these three methods have return type void and there is no parameter here. Understood everyone? So now I am going to create a delegate that holds the address of these methods. That is our requirement. So now how to create a delegate? So first tell me how we create a class. What is the syntax for creating a class? Class keyword we use. So when we want to create the delegate, we have to use delegate keyword. So delegate is like I am creating a new type. खुद का एक हम अपना type बना रहे हैं. So delegate, name of the delegate. So let's say the name of the delegate is my delegate. And we have to mention the syntax. So क्या बोलना चाहिए prototype. देखो यहाँ पे ध्यान से ये मेथड है. इसका रिटर्न टाइप क्या है void और उसको पैरामीटर्स क्या है कुछ भी नहीं. सो इफ यू वांट टू क्रिएट अ डेलीगेट व्हाट यू विल डू डेलीगेट कीवर्ड यूज करना है और वो मेथड को एज इट इज कॉपी कर दो पहले तो fun1 ऐसा जिसके लिए डेलीगेट बनाना है वो एज इट इज ले लो. बस यहाँ पे fun1 की जगह कुछ भी दूसरा नाम यूज कर लो. सो आई एम यूजिंग द नेम एज माई डेलीगेट. So this is a delegate which can hold the address of any function whose return type is void and whose parameter list is empty. Understood everybody? ऐसे बनाना है delegate. क्योंकि वो फंक्शन का एड्रेस स्टोर करने वाला है ना तो फंक्शन कौन सा टाइप का फंक्शन वो भी बताना पड़ता है. Everybody is okay with this syntax? So here we have just created a delegate. अभी हमने just एक delegate बनाया है और वो delegate किस which type of address that delegate can store? किस टाइप के मेथड का एड्रेस वो स्टोर कर सकता है? ऐसा मेथड जिसका रिटर्न टाइप वॉइड हो और जिसका पैरामीटर लिस्ट एम्प्टी हो. सो ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज फोकस ऑन दिस सिंटैक्स. ये सबको समझ में आ रहा है? मैंने यहाँ जानबूझ के तीन मेथड्स बनाए एंड वी क्रिएटेड अ डेलीगेट लाइक दिस. नाउ वी विल हैव अवर मेन मेथड. सो पब्लिक स्टैटिक वॉइड मेन. हाँ अभी क्योंकि मेन स्टैटिक है तो ये भी मेथड्स को अपने को स्टैटिक लिखना पड़ेगा अदरवाइज आई वोंट बी एबल टू यूज दीज मेथड्स राइट. स्टैटिक सिर्फ स्टैटिक को यूज कर सकता है वो पता है ना सबको. नाउ डेलीगेट इज लाइक अ डेटा टाइप, जैसे क्लास बनाते हैं हम वैसा हमने डेलीगेट को बनाया, ठीक है। नाउ create the object of my delegate. So my delegate d1 is equal to new my delegate. And when you create the object, you can pass like this. इससे क्या समझ में आ रहा है आपको? What do you understand by this line? Store d1 is going to store the address of fun1. Let's create the next one also. Now I can go ahead and call d1. I can go ahead and call d2. And let's run this first of all. We got all the three outputs, but we have not used F1, F2, F3, but we have used it along using the delegate. तो delegate की मदद से हमने उन methods को call किया है. This much, if you have understood, please type U for understood. नहीं समझ में आया है तो repeat का R type करो. Okay. Now, sometimes it might be possible. Okay, let's say there is, मैम ये सिक्योरिटी पर्पस के लिए यूज होता है. यस श्रेयस, आई एम कमिंग टू दैट पॉइंट. What I was saying, sometimes you might have observed, I'm just thinking of some example. हाँ, अभी हम यहाँ पर डिबग में आ जाते हैं और यहाँ पे स्टार्ट विदाउट डिबगिंग पे क्लिक करते हैं. When you click on this option, what it does, internally it performs the compilation and also it is doing the execution part. मतलब दो चीजें ये एक बटन कर रहा है. Can we say like this? It will compile and check whether my code is correct or not, and also it will execute it, correct? So एक तीर से दो निशाने, ऐसा हो सकता है. तीन निशाने, चार निशाने भी हो सकते हैं. So when we are using one delegate, it is not important or it is not needed that you create multiple delegates. जरूरी नहीं है. आप क्या कर सकते हो? You can write d1 plus equal to fun2 like this. fun3 मतलब आपने क्या किया, एक ही डेलीगेट में मल्टीपल मेथड्स अटैच कर दिए. और अब अगर मैं d1 को कॉल करूं तो डेलीगेट को आपने किस सीक्वेंस में मेथड्स दिए हैं? fun1 फॉलोड बाय fun2 फॉलोड बाय fun3, तीनों दिया है. तो अगर हम इसको रन करते हैं, सो कैन यू सी दिस? सो एक बार मैंने मेथड को कॉल किया लेकिन तीनों मेथड्स कॉल हो गए. दिस इज व्हाट द डेलीगेट विल डू फॉर अस. और इसमें हमने ये भी कंट्रोल कर दिया कि सीक्वेंस उनका क्या होना चाहिए. पहले fun1 कॉल होना चाहिए, फिर fun2 कॉल होना चाहिए, फिर fun3 कॉल होना चाहिए. सो वी आर आल्सो गवर्निंग द सिंटैक्स. जिस सीक्वेंस में तुमने डेलीगेट्स अटैच किए हैं वो सीक्वेंस में वो सारे मेथड्स कॉल हो जाएंगे. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग एवरीबॉडी? ये पॉइंट समझ में आया? Now coming back, when we are using in C++, suppose we have a pointer int star p is equal to address of x when we are writing. So x is one variable, say 10, its address is 100, and we can have p which is holding 100. So we say p is a pointer to x. ये सबको पता है? Everybody is aware of this. Even Python students know this point, right? आप ये नहीं बोलोगे कि मैं पाइथन का हूँ, आपको C++ भी आपको रिकॉर्डिंग्स दिया है ना. So you can access this data. Similarly, when there is a function void f1, I may create a pointer अब इसके सिंटैक्स पे ज्यादा तुमको जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, दैट इज नॉट नीडेड एज ऑफ नाउ. वी कैन create a function pointer which can hold this address. So we can write p is equal to f1. So pointer p is holding address of f1. But the problem with the pointer is it's in C++. पहली बात, आप पॉइंटर में जाकर देख सकते हो वो एड्रेस क्या है. द एड्रेस इज डायरेक्टली विजिबल. When I say the address is visible, can I say this address is the address of the function here? मतलब ये जो अभी मैंने डायग्राम बनाया था, so there is a method over here. Its address is suppose 100 and I am saying I am creating a pointer which holds this address, correct? मेरे पास उसका एड्रेस है. If I can see the address, I can go to that location and I can also manipulate that location. Do you agree with that? अगर मुझे एड्रेस मिल गया तो मैं वहां जाकर चेंजेस भी कर सकती हूँ. I may damage the code which somebody has written, which is very very important. क्योंकि मेरे पास एड्रेस है ना, तो वहां जाकर हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. पहली बात. सो फ्रॉम सिक्योरिटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दिस इज डेंजरस. डू यू, क्योंकि कोड है ना ये अपना मेथड जो तुमने प्रोग्राम लिखा है, एप्लीकेशन कैसे वर्क करेगा, दैट इज द पार्ट यू आर एबल टू चेंज दैट पार्ट. सो योर फंक्शन, योर कोड विल नॉट फंक्शन द वे इट हैज बीन डिजाइन. सो दिस इज डेंजरस. डू यू एग्री विद दिस? And another thing is, in C++, you can simply typecast this p into anything. आप इसको int कर दो, वो integer pointer की तरह behave करना शुरू कर देगा. So you may typecast it into something else and you may try to change the behavior also. तो मैंने बनाया फंक्शन पॉइंटर फंक्शन का एड्रेस स्टोर करने, बट आपने उसको चेंज कर दिया उसका बिहेवियर. सो दैट इज अगेन अ प्रॉब्लम. वो वैसा काम ही नहीं करेगा जिसके लिए उसको बनाया था हमने. In delegates are created as a reference. Last lecture में हमने reference सुना था. So it is going to have a reference. So reference holds the address but we can't see that address. समझ गए? जो चीज दिखाई नहीं देगी वहां तुम जाकर उसमें चेंजेस कर सकते हो क्या? एड्रेस दिख रहा है क्या? नहीं. वहां जा सकते हो? नहीं. चेंजेस कर सकते हो? बिल्कुल नहीं. So there is no way you can make the changes using the delegate. And also it has been designed for a specific purpose. You cannot typecast it into something else. So we said delegates are type safe. जिस पर्पस के लिए उसको बनाया उसी पर्पस के लिए हम उसको यूज कर सकते हैं. We cannot typecast it into anything like that. So delegates are better than function pointers. This is one of the commonly asked interview question. Difference between function pointer and delegates. So we say delegates are type safe. So type is respected here. It cannot be modified and you cannot see the address. You cannot modify the data or the code. ठीक है श्रेयस? Understood? Everybody is clear till this point? So in this case, we created a delegate with void. Let's have another set of methods. So let me have a class. जैसे अभी हमने my calculator बनाया था. So let's have a my calculator class. Okay, so we have defined a set of methods. Sorry. Okay, ये एक, अभी आप सभी मेथड्स को देखो, सबका सिग्नेचर सेम है. एंड दीज आर नॉन स्टैटिक मेथड्स. ठीक है, नॉन स्टैटिक को कॉल करना है तो क्या चाहिए हमने को? ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए. स्टैटिक बनाएंगे तो क्लास, नहीं बनाया तो ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए. नाउ कम टू दिस प्रोग्राम डॉट सी एस. आई वॉन्ट टू क्रिएट अ डेलीगेट फॉर दिस मेथड. तो क्या करो आप? जस्ट कॉपी दिस. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यहाँ पे आ जाओ. यूज द डेलीगेट कीवर्ड. सॉरी, ये ऐसा लिखा हमने. अब यहाँ पर सब्सट्रैक्शन की जगह कुछ और. सो माई कैल डेलीगेट, ऐसा उसको नाम दे दिया हमने. ठीक है, just change that name to some other thing. So delegate keyword, signature, the name of the delegate. So name of the delegate in this case is my delegate. ये लाइन सबको समझ में आ रही है? Okay, now we want to create the object of that my delegate, but at the time of creation we have to pass the method also, right? तो method वहाँ my calculator के पास है. तो my calculator c1 is equal to new my calculator. I create the object. Now my cal delegate we will create, say d2 is equal to new. Now here we will have to write c1 dot addition. ऐसा समझ रहे हो? d2 plus equal to, you will write c1 dot, let's say सभी को अगर मुझे ऐड करना है तो subtraction. हाँ, इसमें रिटर्न टाइप का प्रॉब्लम आएगा. 2 मिनट. हाँ, पहले तो ये करके देखते हैं. So if I want to call the method, how I will call it? Result is equal to d2 dot, sorry, d2 in the square bracket. I should be calling the values, passing the values. Sorry. समझ में आ रहा है? जैसे अगर हम C1 एडिशन मेथड को कैसे कॉल करते हैं? एडिशन एंड इन द ब्रैकेट वी विल पास द डेटा, राइट? सो D2 एंड यू पास द डेटा. सो नाउ इफ आई एग्जीक्यूट दिस, you should see the result is the summation. ये सबको समझ में आ रहा है? In this example, we have created a delegate which accepts some parameters as well. So the signature part is important. वो method का जो signature, इसको signature बोलते हैं for Python students. Data type, return type, parameters का data type, ये पूरा जो चीज होता है इसको हम उसका signature, syntax, return type क्या है, parameter का data type क्या है, that is called as signature. So while creating the delegate, we have to take care of the signature. This much is clear, everyone? Now, if I go ahead and attach multiple methods here, जैसे d2 plus equals to, if I attach c1 dot subtraction, d2 plus equal to c1 dot division, d2 plus equals to c1 dot multiplication. अगर ऐसा हमने किया, then if I call this, then let's see what is going to happen. Let me just change the data so that we understand the calculation which is going on. ठीक है, अभी मैं यहाँ पर समझो 2 पास करती हूँ. अरे यार सॉरी. This one I will comment. I will not be calling this directly. I am calling the last one. What do you observe? You will get the output of only the last one. क्योंकि ये क्या हो रहा है, ये सब कॉल हो रहे हैं लेकिन वो आउटपुट ओवरराइट होते जाएगा एंड द फाइनल वन इज द लास्ट वन. इज इट क्लियर एवरीवन? So that is why while creating the delegate, mostly we create methods where the return type should be void. क्योंकि आप मल्टीपल मेथड्स भी अटैच कर सकते हो तो जो वैल्यू रिटर्न होगी वो पता नहीं चलेगा क्या है. So mostly when we are creating the delegate, we make sure that its return type should be void. Understood everyone? Such a delegate which holds address of multiple methods, it is known as multicast delegate. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? multicast delegate. जहाँ पर एड्रेसेस एक से ज्यादा हमने अटैच किए हैं. So one by one it is internally calling all the methods. I hope everybody understood this concept. Delegate सबको समझ में आ रहा है? So learning only delegate doesn't make any sense. अभी तुमको लग रहा होगा अरे ये सब बनाया तो है लेकिन इसका करना क्या है? What is the use? So only delegate we learned, it doesn't make any sense. We have to know the concept of events because event and delegate go hand in hand. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, when we click on this button, then some action happens. So click is the event. और क्लिक करने पर क्या हो रहा है, that is the delegate. So delegate tells us the action, event tell us when that action will happen. Are you getting this? हमने मेथड तो डिफाइन कर दिया पर वो मेथड हमें अभी नहीं कॉल करना है. It should be called when a particular action takes place. That is governed by event. तो इवेंट बताएगा कि एक्शन कब होना है और क्या एक्शन परफॉर्म करना है वो पता चलता है डेलीगेट से.